Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts. In last week's video, I showed how to make this messy art journal using a Slipknot binding. No sewing involved. I got a ton of great comments, and I really appreciate that. Keep them coming. One that I got over and over was, hey, what do you think would happen if we tried that binding, that Slipknot binding, not using twine, but using ribbon? And I said, I don't know. There's only one way to find out. So I did. And I think it looks pretty good. It's chunky, but pretty. It's this time the knots are even more of an element of the look of the book. For today's video, I'm going to show how to make this, and I'm going to use sari silk ribbon because I have a ton of it. But you don't have to use sari silk. Use any kind of ribbon that you like and that you have. However, don't go shiny, because this is really the knots staying snug is really important and integral, and shiny ribbon is not going to stay where you want it, no matter how pretty it is. It needs to be thin enough that you can double it up and get it through the hole. This grosgrain is too heavy. So even though it's matte and flat, that wouldn't work. So you want something that's thin enough that will feed when doubled up. And this is not really that thin, but because it's nice and soft, it lets me do that. I even have some lace here that I got at the craft store. And it's solid enough to take a knot, but thin enough that it would definitely double up and go through a hole. You're going to see what I mean when we get to the step. My point is, it doesn't have to be sari silk. If you like journal arts, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and be sure and turn on the notifications so you know when I post, and you will have more journal arts in your life. Let's go make a book with ribbon. For the boards in this book, I'm going to use the same kind of boards that I used in my previous video. This is a nice medium weight cardboard. It's pretty robust. And I got it, I bought some mushrooms in the market, and they were in this box. So I've trimmed those down to, I don't know. And I like this size a lot. In inches, it's about 2.5 by 4.25. Now, the next thing to get started would be to punch holes in the side here. And that's where we're going to make our knots for our binding. But as I explained last week, if you're not careful, when you start putting your threads and strings in the holes, it is so easy to tighten them up by yanking, and you will then pull out the hole and the thread with it. I know, because I've done it several times and then didn't show it on camera because I was pretty not happy. So this week I'm going to try something a little different. I'm going to reinforce my sides where the holes go. You can use metal grommets. You can use paper reinforcement grommet thingies. I don't have any. But I got this idea from Rita at Gone Rustic. And she has some videos on making Slipknot diaries, Slipknot books. And I'm going to link to those in the text box below this video, so you can see someone else's take on it. But what she does when she reinforces her pages is she just uses another piece of board or paper all the way down. I'm using, this is just a heavy watercolor paper, but you could use cardstock or something from a sketchbook pad, whatever you got. And I've trimmed it. Now I'm going to glue it on all of these boards, like this. I'll be right back. You can see that this is going to be a look. You know, when you put your papers together, you're going to have this line bisecting your page. That's okay. I'm going to make it part of the look. I can either cover it completely with another piece of paper, or I can just decorate around it and make it an element of it. You got this. You know how that goes. So I put the holes. I'm going to do 2 holes in this binding rather than 3. You can do as many as you want. And I've put them about 3/4 of an inch up on either side. I'm sorry I don't have the metric today. I don't have my metric ruler. So, yeah, this is almost, it's about 3 centimeters. Anyway, to match these up and get them as close as possible, rather than remeasure every board, I am going to line the edges up, and then I'm using a Crop-a-dile to make my holes, but you can use any kind of old-timey traditional hole punch you get at an office supply store or a craft store or online. And I've got this lined up. And I'm just going to make the other hole and then do it 1 card at a time till they all have the holes perfectly matchy-matchy. I have my cards with the reinforced borders, and I've got my sari silk. Now, last week when I used a thinner twine, I said about 3 centimeters or an inch per card, and I have 8 cards today. But I found in making the prototypes that because this ribbon is so thick, it's better to go with about 2 inches or 6 centimeters per card per hole. So, and then I added another 10 inches just because I'd rather have too much than too little. So it's there and there. And again, that's 2 inches per card plus an extra 10 inches. We'll see how that turns out. Let's get going. I'm starting, oh, you can see by the way, you can see that my ribbon is pretty wrinkled. I tea-dyed it and then I didn't iron it. And I don't care, because I think after this is all done, I'm at knots, it won't show. And if it does, I'm just going to call it texture. I'm going to start with the back board. Someone asked if you can start at the top and work back. I don't see why not. I just haven't figured out how to do it. So what you want to do is double up your thread or your ribbon. You've got your back card. And that leaves a loop. I'm just going to pull through here. Now, even though I have reinforced with this extra card, do not yank. It's only paper. It will still pull out if you're not careful. So you want that to be snug, but just pull it gently and adjust it with your hands as you go. Okay. There's the loop. Pull it through. And then again, just gently feed that in and then make it snug. Don't pull. Now I'm going to take card number 2. And for this one now, we're going to start feeding through the loose ends. It's going to be a little bit more fiddly, so I'm just going to kind of tighten it up there, and I got something pointy to help it go through. So I'm going to, again, go up from the top. Doop, doop, doop. Pull it through. Open up this loop. And pull your threads through. Make them snug. Just work it in there. Work it, work, work. Gonna twist these guys together, kind of. Go up on the top. Poke them through. The two ribbons make a loop. And we're off and away. Now to add the cover board. As you can see, this was not too much ribbon at all. And if I do it again, I'm probably going to use quite a bit more. So I can't give an exact measurement on the ribbon. Just use a lot, more than you think you need. So now I've attached this, and I'm going to pull it nice and snug. And that's what I'm doing here too. But not too tight, because to finish off the cover, you want to, we have our ends, take the bottom one, feed it through and around the knot and pull it up on the top, and the bottom one to go around in the board. Stay there. Around the knot and down the bottom. And then you just want to work and tighten that whole thing up. Do that again down here. Got two threads. The bottom one goes around the knot and back out on the other side on the top. Bottom one goes in around the knot and on the bottom. And I'm going to get those as snug as I can. And to finish, tie a knot. It was suggested that I should be using a square knot. I dare say. So now that's going to say nice and where it should. And this is how that looks now. So this is your Slipknot binding using ribbon. Since my pages are blank and I haven't decorated them yet, there's no reason why this dangly part can't be my back. You could trim these, or you could tie a charm around them if that's your look. Especially if you've got more thread, you might want to leave it fringy. And you can see that it's going to lie flat. There's a lot of gap there, but again, that's the look of the book. Especially if you're like me and you like a distressed looking book, that's just going to add to the asymmetry of it. And that is it. I'm not going to decorate the page today, the covers. I just wanted to show how the binding looked with that ribbon instead of a thinner thread or twine. If you like journal arts and if you like the content on this channel, please consider making a donation to help support it. You can do that by following the link in the text box to Ko-fi, where you can make a one-off donation or become a monthly member. If you have any questions or any comments, please let me know in the comments below and we can compare notes. Until later, get up and go make something. Bye.